been a while. Yeah, I know. I said some things. I promised some things. But we back. Relationship Dynamics is it's a podcast and a segment that it's truly important, and it links people to what's most important, and that is relationships and connecting and bridging gaps so people can have heart-filled moments with people that they care about.
What up? What's crackin'? From what I've heard, it's been a while, so we're gonna get to it. I'm Tomi the Disciple, here to make it happen, here to help connect the dots. We got this. Let's go.
It has been a while.
It's been a while. Hey, damn.
And I brought friends. Cartier Rob.
Tomi the Disciple.
And we're going to help bridge the gap to y'all hearts. And Relationship Dynamics is back.
Tomorrow.
Hey.
Let's get it.
Tune in. Like, comment, subscribe. Boom.
Nice.
What's up, y'all? It's Cartier Rob. And I'm back here with Relationship Dynamic. And I'm one of your hosts, CR. And we have...
Tomi the Disciple.
Oh.
Tomi the Disciple. Tomi. Tomi the Disciple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. We're back. I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
We're back. With a new installment of Relationship Dynamics. Once again, this show is, meant to really take a deep dissection of the relationship culture and everything that, goes well, not well, but people are familiar with my face. But this is the first time people seeing you.
Yes. Should I give an intro? Who I am?
Bro, exactly. Who are you? Who is this guy?
I won't give the full government name, but I go by Tomi. Go by Tomi. Born in Nigeria, lived in England, moved to Miami, Florida, around Miami, and then Virginia after that, Philadelphia, and from Philadelphia now I am in Portland, Oregon. Yeah, man. Here we are, all the different places, but yeah. Anything else? What else would you? I don't know. What should I?
No.
How should I intro myself?
No, I think that's a perfect example. I think a proper, co-host. I think people were wondering, why is this not Cos? Why is this not Tay? Why is this not AJ?
Yeah.
Why? I guess the question is why? Why this show? Why you? Why is talking about relationships important to the disciple?
Well, one, I mean, we were introduced maybe earlier this year, but we had just chopping it up, had good conversations, and next thing you know, we've had just good conversations around relationships. And I feel like I'm not in a relationship right now, but I feel like relationships are important, just for people. We all want relationship, we all want companionship, all that kind of stuff, whether it's friendship, romantic, whatever it is. Everyone desires relationship and stuff, so why not talk about it? And we have so much content going on, all that kind of stuff, but let's get the right stuff out there. Let's get the good stuff out there. So
I respect you saying that, getting the right stuff out there. That's actually prime reason why, and also excellent segue too.
Hey, let's get it.
Of why I wanted you on here is because getting the right content out there, because saying something purposely divisive is will very easily become viral. Right. I know we're here to have fun and be serious, and if something goes viral off a genuineness piece of us, then that's fine. But going out of the way to do that is not what we're here to do.
Exactly.
But that actually gets me to, and y'all stay with me, working on this segment. It's called, Is That Valid or That Ain't It? This is how this works. We're only doing Relationship Dynamics once a month. And once a month, we're going to have other content in between to hold you over. But Tomi and I will find one thing from the internet that we will show each other. And we're going to ask, is what the person posting valid or that ain't it? So, for example, if Tomi pulls out a clip and the clip is like, men are bad, women are bad.
Yeah.
I will say that's valid,
Gotcha.
or I'll say that ain't it, and then we'll talk about the clip real quick.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I'm gonna pull up my clip for Tomi
Question,
first.
Does the clip have to be something relationship focused only, or can it just be anything?
It can be anything.
Anything, gotcha. Okay.
It's relationship shows. I'd give them a bit of an example.
Gotcha.
So I got my one for Tomi, and then because I'm working on my editing skills, it's gonna be somewhere in this video. I promise. I say that so many times and it's not there. I promise I'm gonna have this in here. So he has not seen this video. I'm gonna show him my phone. You guys will see the other point and other vantage and angle. Hold on a second. All right. I'm gonna turn up the volume a little bit. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So
let's see if it's valid or not. Let's see it.
See, right? I'm gonna show him the video. I'm gonna say, is this valid? And then I'm gonna show him the video, and he's gonna watch it. And at the end of it, he says, is it valid or that ain't it?
Gotcha. All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Young people are over dating apps, so they're turning to the supermarket to find love. Single Spaniards have been flocking to the grocery store between the hours of 7 and 8 p.m. and using fruit to broadcast their dating intentions. According to the trend, if you put a pineapple upside down in your shopping cart, it means you are down for a date. But a legume or lettuce means you are more DTF and looking for a short-term fling. Dating app fatigue is a real thing, but looking for love in aisle 9 might be a step too far.
Is that valid or not?
Valid.
Wait.
I mean, it's a joke. I mean, it's hilarious. It's interesting, but it's interesting. New ways to date, all that kind of stuff. I'm for it. We have run clubs, you got yoga classes, all that kind of stuff. Now we got grocery shopping. So, and interesting because they mentioned Spain. I'm going to be in Spain in a few days. So
I did my research.
I might go grocery shopping and see what's up. Have a tuxedo there in Spain, everything ready to get married.
You ain't doing that. Stop. You too chill for that.
That's exactly it.
That's, to me, it's just crazy that you gotta be in the grocery store and being like, hey, I can reach that.
Jeez. And the pineapples. Why pineapples? Why lettuce? All the different things they said about which fruit. Why those things? I'm just curious. But yeah.
I would say when I was out there, in the wild, when I was in the streets, I would put myself out there in different ways.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I also kind of agree with this method just a little bit because I still don't see American people doing this that well. But like it's just a new way because everyone's so stuck to the dating app, so I can see like this sticking because what's called run club what it is. You trying to meet your thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like sometimes I really feel like a real good conversation comes from grocery store.
You could tell a lot about a person by what you see in their by what they eat, what you see in their cart. Interesting. All right, let me just go fun. This is a fun one. I'll start off a little lighthearted, and then we'll get into some more of the serious content later. But let me see. My phone is in black and white. Let me put the color on.
Really? Your phone's in black?
Yeah, my eyes, man. It just helps with my eyes. I don't know. I'm getting old.
Nigga, what?
It's a world record right there.
I don't need to see anymore. Nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. Let me tell you.
Oh,
y'all will see this ridiculous.
Crazy.
The Guinness Book of Records.
World record.
Sucking ping pong balls.
This guy was able to figure out that he can start with a ping pong ball in his mouth, shoot it against the wall, catch it, and do it over and over and over and over again. And he has a world record for that. I'm just trying to figure out how he figured out he had this as a talent. But I won't demonstrate what it looks like. I'll just have you all watch the video and then just go from there.
Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 guy. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 guy.
Oh man, it must have been a tough time. He probably learned that during COVID or something. He was like, "Oh, I have this talent." I don't know, man.
Learned that during COVID. Man. Now, a rough transition, but I'm gonna make sure I get this. So, a lot of things we, learned probably during COVID.
What a time.
I know is how I'll introduce this is a big part of this episode is the real dating market.
Right.
And the real dating market is some topics we're going to talk about is what the real market is like, because I feel like when people talk about the dating market, it's very exaggerated. So I think we're going to start with the very first thing. When you're a part of a real dating market, right? I think you understand your pros, your cons, and where you're at. But also, I think a big part of what it comes with it is mindfully dating. So when I say mindfully dating, what comes up for you?
Man, mindful dating. It just means you can't just go around dating everyone.
Huh?
You can't go around just wasting your time, being out here in the streets, just doing whatever. It's really being intentional about who you're giving your time to, who you're giving your mental, spiritual, physical energy to. Like, you can't just be going around dating everyone and stuff. So that's what comes to mind. No pun intended when I think of mindful dating.
I see.
But
Oh, so we doing that.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, man. I also have to agree with you too as well, because like when I think there's like stages of like mindfully dating, because I feel like when you're in college, there's a different level of maturity when it comes to mindfulness, when it comes to dating, when you're like, first on the brink of 30s or 40s, because when we look at dating as a whole, right? And maybe I'm a bit skewed, I always see dating as and being mindful as I'm dating someone to eventually marry them.
Right, exactly. And
I think that is kind of like missed in those brackets of time.
Right. No, agreed. I mean, and I get it. I feel like from what I've seen, everyone has like a different season of life and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, like the goal is marriage. The goal is something long term. The goal is to be with this person for the rest of my life. So that's why it's like, all right, I got to be mindful about this. You can't just be out here in these streets going after whoever it is. You know what I mean? Going after whoever. So, marriage is always the goal. That's how it is for me. I feel like, and I think there's spaces. There's spaces where like, all right, you can kind of get out there and test out the waters again, like dating and all that kind of stuff. But even then, I'm still even being careful about who it is that I am dating. If it is like that, I'm still being mindful. But eventually, long term, it's like, hey, I want to be married. Does this person fit the lifestyle I want to live? Does this person fit the standards that I've set and everything like that? So, yeah, it can't just be anybody.
Yeah, and I think the part that I kind of want to like bridge the gap to with as well is, in my humble opinion, I think from 18 to 25,
right,
I definitely think that people should hold out on getting married. Not saying that you can't date, right? But I think you should live a little. And when I mean live a little, that's up to whomever. That means you can partake physically. That means you can partake in multiple streams of like dating. But I think people need to get their reps up.
Exactly. Okay, I want to hear more of that,
So when I say like from the 18-25, because you get an opportunity to learn more of yourself.
Right.
And then obviously you get an opportunity to know what you want and what you like.
Exactly.
I feel like it's very anomalistic. Hopefully that's a real word. Hopefully that's a word. Where from the ages of 18 to 25, you find your person, and then two like-minded people who are locked in views like, hey, we want to be together forever, whether that is marriage, whether it is long-term partnership. And I feel like that's very rare in this day and age of instant gratification.
Yeah, exactly. 100% agreed. And it's interesting you say the whole 18 to 25, because I've seen where that works, and I've also like seen when it doesn't work. I've seen people who get married super young and then they divorce early, and I've seen people who get married super young and it just works out well. So it's interesting how you have that dynamic of the age range of 18 to 25. So yeah, and even like now, so like people who are in later 20s and everything like that, they may still be in that mindset of, oh, I'm just taking my time, kind of just being immature and everything like that. So that's why I'm like interested in that 18 to 25 range of like just don't get married or whatever it is. And then when is that perfect time? Is there a perfect time? Everyone has their own journey, you know what I mean? Everyone has their own journey and stuff. So yeah, I'm curious about if there is a perfect time. I don't know.
Oh, well, yeah. And that kind of for me like goes into why the dating market struggles with reality, because everyone thinks that when I get 30 or I get 31, when I get to this time, like I'm gonna be super ready. Right. This thing is gonna happen, blah blah blah. I'm gonna get what Now, I didn't say this, but I forget what I was listening to a video, because a lot of the stuff when it comes to like relationship content, I like to take in things from multiple different sectors.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to be in an echo chamber.
Gotcha, right.
I want to hear perspectives from multiple different people.
Yeah.
And I heard this from it's going to get racial.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was talking to how he talked to his son and his daughter.
Okay.
That was a white guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, hey, before you leave college, you need to find your person.
Okay.
And he's like, because it's difficult to find a person when you're out of college, because in college you have this bubble.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, you're you're a freshman to sophomore year, have your fun, but between there, you should have like 3 to 4 prospective people you could see long term.
Right, gotcha. Yeah.
And I was like, when I took that in, found that to be like very interesting because I'm kind of like, because when we do get out in the world, we have to balance our career, taking care of ourselves. Dating is a chore.
Yeah.
Because like when we're in college, you have that free time to like, I can fuck around and find out. Just a little bit. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And when I say college, you don't all have to go to college. I'm talking about that college time, like that 18, 25 bubble, right? And I thought that was very interesting perspective that the guy would say that to, how he talked to, and he was like an elite type of dude.
Okay.
And I was like, so interesting that they would tell their kids, you need to find who you really want to be with between this time frame.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's funny. Well, I don't know if this kind of relates, but at least, the school that I went to a Christian school, Liberty University.
Okay.
So it was funny that I wouldn't say, basically I would say it's a bubble because you mentioned the bubble. It's kind of like a bubble. I loved my experience there. It was a great experience. But one of the things that like is so known there is like just people getting married young, the whole ring by spring. If you went to Liberty and you know this, you probably know about this, but if not, you probably know about it now. But ring by spring, it's like such a big thing, and people are getting like in relationships early on and everything. People are getting married in like sophomore year, junior year, senior year, and all that kind of stuff because everyone there is like a Christian. Everyone there is just like in this bubble. So it's like, all right, you're a Christian, I'm a Christian. Boom, let's do it. And it's interesting how in that bubble, people are getting married young and everything like that. But you saying the bubble thing earlier made me think about that and stuff because when you get out of there and then you're not in that bubble again, it's like, all right, like, oh, I got to get out there and find like people with like-mindedness and all that kind of stuff. And it's not the same as when I was in college, at least from my experience.
Exactly.
Everything like that. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
And that's why I found it very interesting. And I remember that because you were talking that made me just remember that because I'm just kind of like, because he was very like, you're not going to marry them right at 25. It's just like, you just got to have 2 to 3 solid people in your mind that could be my person. Because you've been through things like you align and you've already spent that time and you bullshit and you bullshitting around each other.
Interesting.
No. So like, so to kind of like talk about, to go further for like the real dating market. One of the things you made a mention and talked about a lot is, are you what you are looking for?
Right. Exactly. That to me is one of the biggest things I will like stand on and like preach and just like try and get out to people because we have so many like expectations, so many standards that we set and everything. Oh, I want this and I want that. That goes both ways, not for just guys, not for just women. I think it's both. We both have to be accountable for like what we are looking for and everything. But I'm like, man, like you have this list of whatever it is. Like, are you that? You have to like first, in my opinion, you have to like first be that before you can like expect that from somebody else. Like you have to be accountable to whatever it is before you can expect someone else to be accountable. You have to be emotionally mature in your own before you can expect your partner to be emotionally mature. If you have finances as one of this, are you making so and so money before you expect this person to make money? Are you doing this and that? Like you have to take an honest look at yourself before you can expect someone else to like do this for you or be that for you and all that kind of stuff. And you can't expect someone else to be that for you. I feel like, at least in my opinion, like you can't have somebody fix you. Like you need to be who you are and not have someone try to come and complete you. The whole you complete me kind of thing. Like no, you have to be in your own right, not having to be perfect. Don't need to be perfect, but like in your own right, in a good frame of mind, all that kind of stuff, and then bring someone else into the equation, but really be accountable and honest. Like, hey, am I what I would look for? You know what I mean? Like, am I the person that I would want to be with? Like ideally, not like just messing around, all that kind of stuff, but like, like spending the rest of my life with this person. am I that? And you got to be honest. And it takes hard work. I feel like it takes a lot of hard work, but you know, you got to find people, good community who can help you and everything. But got to be honest. Take a good look at yourself. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna kick something back to you real quick.
Yeah.
And the thing I heard very recently is, you know, the company you do keep is a reflection of who you are. Where it's a bit of a blessing for the type of, you know, friends that I have, the people that can call me out on my shit, the people who can let me know that I can be better. Because, you know, you don't get that. You don't get the opportunity in life because you can have a lot of enablers, yes men, yes women, yes people, where, you know, maybe you weren't inherently wrong in a relationship, but maybe you could be better, or maybe they're, you know, they're co-signing toxicity.
Exactly. Stupidity, toxicity. Yeah.
So this makes me think, because everyone that has like relationship oriented podcasts, they always talk about it, but I never feel like they say certain things that they actually have done. So to be what you're looking for, I'm just curious, how has the disciple Tomi, how has he?
Man, to be honest, it's really, I think to be what I'm looking for is being honest with myself first. Is really just taking time, you know, life is busy, all that kind of stuff, but really taking the time to slow down from like all that's going on with work, friendships, whatever it is, really taking time to slow down and assessing, who am I? Like, who am I in this moment right now? And is it what I want? Is it what I'm looking for? And, you know, can I get better? I think you have to always first take a look at yourself before you can like try and, you know, change whatever it is on the outside and stuff like that. So I think right now it's just taking an honest look and assessment of like who you are as a person before you can like end up doing the other things and stuff. So I would say definitely being honest, being accountable from there. That's what it looks like. And then just going from there. But yeah, really being honest and reflecting about who I am.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that because I think that's important, and I think I'm gonna push you even further.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's 1 to 2 things for you? Because one of the things that I really commend you is when I first met you, right? And this is this guy culture, right? I promise not like gonna do no Steve Harvey shit, right? and is where like when you're out with the fellas and guys, we're all like, all right, you know, what's your reps? You know, you gonna, how many girls you gonna talk to tonight? You know, that stuff, right? That's what guys do. That's guy culture. And one of the dope things that I liked about you is like, you would, you know, get up your shots, you know, he's a finisher, you know, lay it off the glass, lay it off the glass.
Oh my goodness.
But the thing is, you were always being like, I'm not dating anyone seriously right now. And I was like, I respect that, because I know a lot of dudes who would just take that and be like, all right, this is just something to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's intentionally knowing yourself. So so I'm gonna push you.
Yeah, okay.
What's the one thing you had to do to get to that level?
Man, what's the one thing I knew? Well, one, it was coming out of a relationship, to be completely honest with you. Coming out of a relationship, like it was a while ago, but then realizing like, hey, like I want time for myself. Yeah. And I can't just be, at least for me, to be honest with you, just like being straight up, it's like, I don't want to use somebody for my own like pleasure. Like I don't want to use somebody for my own like validation. I don't want to, like, you know, when it comes to like being out there and like seeing girls here and there, I don't want to just talk to somebody just to like get my validation up, just to boost my ego. Like I'm like, okay, no, I'm good. I don't need that. Like, so I think one, coming out of a relationship was like, hey, I just need time for myself. Like I just need time to just continue to grow, all that kind of stuff. And then two was realizing like, man, like if I'm out here just trying to talk to every girl, I think it's just an ego boost. You know, I don't need an ego boost from somebody at some bar or some club and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm fine. I'm okay.
Keisha.
Right.
Tanisha.
Right. It's like, but I think I think to be honest, and it's okay, you know, if somebody wants to go do your own thing, go talk to how many other girls, you know, you want at a club or wherever you are, a bar, whatever it is. But it's like, just at least, it doesn't have to be that deep either, you know, but I'm like, man, like what's going to come out of this, of me like talking to this girl at this bar? Like chances are like, you know, she's not who I'm looking for and stuff. So why like am I gonna take it further and all that kind of stuff? Like, you know, I want to be intentional about who it is that I'm dating. Yeah. And chances are, no shade or nothing to anybody who is at a bar, at a club or whatever, 100% no shade. But it's like really being honest, like, hey, like, am I really gonna find the person that I'm looking for here? Yeah. You know, where I am. So that's why I was like, like I'm comfortable. I'm okay. Obviously, 100%. Like I do want a relationship. I'm like, I would love to, someone that I'm with for the rest of my life. But it's like realizing, all right, like, hey, like here's not the space to get it. I'm comfortable on my own, and I don't want to just go out seeking somebody just to feel this ego boost. You know what I mean? And that's, I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything like that, but it's like it's come to that point where realizing that was the case. Like I just don't need that. Yeah,
man.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's so interesting because I feel like I had to do a bit of the same myself.
Yeah.
I had to really like dial in. No, I appreciate you being vulnerable because I think that's a issue that men really struggle with. Because is there more spaces where people accept a male's vulnerability? No. Is that still an excuse for men to not work on that?
Right.
Absolutely not. We still have to be levels of vulnerable, and I almost had to have that same conversation for myself, being like, what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Because what I'm saying, don't get me wrong, when I used to pull up in my Kia Forte, especially when I had the baddie in the Kia Forte, let me know I had a cold mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? But
oh man, it's funny.
I really had to grow up and have the emotional maturity to be like, now I'm a bit of a nerd.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite lines comes from Stan Lee. Great power comes great responsibility. And I think at the surface level, what people don't understand is, can you show or not? My bad. At the surface level, people like look at that quote. I'm like, oh, okay, I get that. But at the deeper level, right? The deeper level is, can I be heroic even if I don't get praise for that?
Jeez.
Can I be heroic if nobody knows about that? Meaning, I don't need to tell you if I'm leaving a bar situation and hey, I'm just gonna walk this girl to her car because I just want to.
Exactly.
There's no like like no one's going to know. Or how about this? Let me do the heroic thing. Is I appreciate our conversation. I'm just going to buy you a drink, and that's all that's all that I want from you.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that is the piece that I like had to really mature, because there are times where I was ego driven, where I was ego of like, oh, I gotta do this, I'm the man.
I get it,
and I feel like true manhood is like this. I want to take this, you gotta take this very literally. It's like, oh, this doesn't bother me, meaning like I'm not letting this situation affect me so much that it gets me acting out of my character.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, 100% agreed. And the biggest thing too, like even one of the biggest things for me is just communicate, man. Like don't just communicate wherever it is that you're at, in whether it's in the stage of, you want to, like you said, like just trying to be casual, whatever it is. I feel like the best thing to do is just communicate. Yeah, that's the best thing you can do as a man, as a woman, whatever it is. Like just communicate where you're at, and literally that should be. It's scary, but I think it saved me a lot of trouble, but it's also brought down a lot of barriers or whatever it is, and whatever it is. But just communicate. But yeah, I appreciate you and sharing where you were at with that too. Yeah, it takes a lot just to be honest and looking at yourself. Yeah.
Well, you said communication. I think it's time for me to communicate to y'all that we have, and it's time to have a break.
Hey.
And a word from our sponsor today. And after our sponsor, we'll be right back with our last half.
Right back.
Do you have an event coming up? A project that'd be elevated by crisp visuals and clear audio? Look no further than the Backseat Critic Productions. Our email is bc.productions.pdx@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram at bc.productions.pdx.
So now y'all know where to get your audio, your video, the best visuals. BSC, the Backseat Critic Productions. Andrew is my guy. I trust him with this show. I trust him with so many different things. And if y'all know me, I got to trust him. Reach out to his IG. Boom. But to kind of keep things going, to almost kind of like wrap up the night, I kind of want to bring you to, because we're still sticking on topic of the real dating market.
Right.
And one of the things that is enamored with our culture is dating shows.
The dating shows. Get it. Let me hear it.
So we got Pop the Balloon.
Right.
We got Love Island. We got Love is Blind.
Married at First Sight.
Bachelor.
Bachelorette. Yeah, all of them. Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to bring this up because I think when you have so many of those programs, because I see so many people of so many different genders, races, where they're just kind of like, oh, I'm about to go watch this show.
Right.
And hey, it's good to watch those type of shows, but I feel like that distorts what people think dating marketing is supposed to be.
Right.
Because
100%.
yeah, you can get on the show, but like in the real dating market, I don't think if we look at middle class dating, right? People in the middle class, it's many people aren't doing that. That's an anomalictic. I did it again.
Another word.
way for people to meet.
Yeah. No, 100%. And it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. And I feel like we can go on a whole different tangent with this and all that kind of stuff. But it's all good entertainment. You know what I mean? Like dating shows is just entertainment to me. I mean, once in a while you do see, different relationships that do work out and everything. But for the most part, I would always, try and be careful just to make sure we don't get caught up in that thinking that's what reality is. For example, like something like Married at First Sight. Like, I'm not going to get married to somebody at first sight. Like, no shade if someone has done that before.
She got a body like a goddess.
Got me singing out here. But yeah, like it's, because, I forgot which season it was or whatever, but I saw one of the episodes and where I would see, I think that couple would have worked if they had more time.
Ooh.
Rather than like having to make that decision right then and there.
Yeah.
So 100% like going on those shows, it's like, hey, you know what you're getting into, all that kind of stuff. But I think for sure it's mainly entertainment, and some of them call them like scientific experiments, whatever it is. But I think for the most part, people need time. You can't just go. For me, like I can't just go and make a decision. Hey, I'm gonna marry this person within a week or 2 weeks. Like, what is that? That's crazy. I mean, but to each their own. But I just do think it's all great entertainment. It's all great fun. But I'm like, I think it kind of distorts us from really what dating is like in the real world, and all that stuff. But yeah, it's good to watch.
Yeah, because I think the effects of dating shows can be very harmful because when I look at a civilization, right, and we kind of like look back, like one of the things that when people took over civilizations, they pillaged the family system, right? Because they knew like if we take out the source of the family, right, that whole essence and all that stuff is broken. So like when I look at civilizations, like how like things are done is like very important because that's a way to systematically disenfranchise a country if you attack the family.
Exactly.
So I'm always like, because I'm a rom-com guy. And
you like a little rom-com Hitch.
Hitch, I love Hitch. Rom-com Rob coined the phrase. Rom-com Rob. But like, I think it's hard for people right now in this day and age to separate dating shows, and I think the effect of dating shows can be harmful because I look at a show that's very popular, very hot is Pop the Balloon Challenge, where you got a row of people, and as soon as you walk in, you just hear boom, 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 boom.
Like, dang, just deflated confidence, pop, 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 pop. Yeah.
And then what I think is worse is the people's responses, where like you go up to a person and you're like, oh, why did you pop my balloon? Your shoes didn't match, those other stuff. I think there's an emotional and mature way of saying like, hey, we don't align, or like, hey, I don't think you noticed your shirt's not ironed, or exactly. And it kind of like, I think we get stuck on those viral moments of how you call someone out for not liking them.
And even, great point, and even like to go off of that too, and even after being rejected or after not being selected, I wouldn't even say being rejected, but after not being selected, like not taking offense to it. Because I don't know if you've seen it, it's like times where, specifically with Pop the Balloon, it's somebody is offended by, like they kind of take it as a jab that they didn't get picked. I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, I didn't pick you. If somebody gave a valid reason, there's no need to like come at somebody for them not deciding to pick you. I think we can be adults, be respectful, and be like, all right, like he or she just decided to go with somebody else. So I don't think it's this thing where, and there are exceptions obviously, but I don't think it needs to be this thing where if you don't get picked, then I need to like come at you. You know what I mean? Like, no, like we don't need to do that. It's all right. we'll keep it pushing, keep it moving, and then on to the next one. You go your way, I go my way. Yeah.
And then like, cause not just Pop the Balloon, like other shows, like there's very trivial reasons why people don't give people a chance. Cause I know, like you were like talking about, it's like very quick. Where like I've heard things where you're making this big decision, right, on this very astronomical, anomalical,
yeah, all the words, today.
Like aspect to like make this decision about your life, where maybe you should have gave that person more time, or maybe you're working and you're being held back because of a past trauma. Like some of the questions like people ask, I feel like are like, oh, you're everything that I wanted, but you're like this.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like I shouldn't say like this. You're this height, or because it kind of gets into the point that you made. I'm gonna look at the script real quick.
No
trivial needs versus crucial needs.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Literally, because you can't. It's really just being, what's the word? Like smart. Really being smart about what it is that is, what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you want. Because for example, like this goes both ways again. I think both women and men are, can be guilty of this. So for example, like so I actually saw a video about this on Instagram a while ago, some story, but some girl was like, she has a lot of like single friends and they're great, but then they have this one guy who is, let's say 5'9", 5'10", but he can meet her emotionally, whatever it is, but then he's not, this height, or vice versa. A guy can meet a woman and she is emotionally this, emotionally that, emotionally this, but she doesn't have like this body and all that kind of stuff and da-da-da-da. And I get it, you want to be attracted and everything like that, but it's really being honest about, hey, like what is it really that you're looking for? Is this like an actual need, or is this something that like is just, like you said, trivial and stuff? So but you also have to realize what it is. Are you willing to give and take?
Ooh, you know what I mean? I love that you said give and take, because it's very hard when we talk about dating, because you're talking about human beings. You're talking about things that are not controllable, things that are controllable, values, and like it gets muddy, and it's hard to strain that. So I guess the emotional maturity comes in, meaning like, hey, this person meets 70% of the things that I need, and maybe this other 20% is something that we can grow and work on. And I feel like everyone's like, if I've been through a relationship or I've done some pseudo therapy or things like that, they come so very hard and rigid with, if you don't do this, and this,
exactly,
then we're not going to work. And when we talk about real dating, real relationships, real relationships work through different things.
And, go ahead.
And I'll just say this. When you meet someone, should things just click for the most part? Blah, blah, blah. But the relationships that our parents had that lasted the test of time took time, effort, and like, hey, we're in this together. The first sign of trouble, like people in the dating market or things like that, they just split. Because it is a balance where I don't want any women, men tolerating any, abuse, emotional abuse,
toxicity, all that stuff.
But because everyone is very easily triggered by work, I'll say it. I feel like people are very triggered from doing the work. It's being like, all right, because I'm getting this interference, I'm immediately thinking that this person is trying to control me. The emotional maturity is, why is this person telling me they don't want this thing? Now, that's just me.
No, and then you're right, and it goes with the communication piece. And I'll say this too. I've been there in that place where it's like, at the first sign, I'll be honest, where it was like at the first sign of like, or first sign of like work, I was like, oh man, like, like this is abort mission. But it's like, no, slowing down, like, hey, take the time. Because, obviously in this day and age, everything's just quick, swipe left, swipe right, on to the next person. It's like, no, like it takes work and everything. Like I said, I've been there where like at the first sign, I almost wanted to like get out of it, but having to reassess me, like, hey, like, no, like let's slow down, let's talk it through, and then communicate, like I mentioned earlier, like, let's talk it through, literally talk it through. But then I'm also at the same time, like, is at what point do you like, hey, I'm done talking. There's no more, I'm out of this relationship on both sides. I'm curious.
Do you see how difficult that was to explain that? That was like defusing a bomb.
Yeah.
And like, we still have people diffusing bombs, even though that things are that difficult. Like, it just takes time because you have to learn which wire that needs to be cut.
Right,
because if you just think, all right, there's a problem, you cut all the cut all the wires, explosion.
You got to put the time in.
You got to figure out which wire needs to be snipped so you can get to, all right, now we have a green light.
Exactly.
And what do you call it? You know, y'all already know this. I've already said this multiple times. You know, I'm a therapist. You know, I do a lot of different things, and I just look and my heart it weeps a little bit because everyone's so untrusting of each other. And everyone, and this comes from Terry Real. This is a relationship specialist. Is he talks about this in his 5 losing strategies in a marriage, or and like you can say in relationship is the need to fight to be right.
Jeez. Right.
And
that's so good.
And I see so many people, because I feel like this is in everyone's relationship.
Right.
The need to fight to be right in the situation, the emotional maturity, in my opinion, of it is this a time to be right, or is this a time to be in a relationship? Because if you know your partner's dysregulated, or this is like one of the things, and you know they shouldn't have responded to you in that way, they shouldn't have done this to you this way. Is it that time for you to be right in that moment, or do you get through that situation and they're like, hey, next time this happens, let's do this a little differently.
And that's it's really good that you said that. And I think that comes from like that whole process that you just mentioned. That comes from taking the time to get to know each other. Oh, you know what I mean? Take some time rather than like just like the first sign of trouble bouncing, but like what you just explained, it comes from taking the time and also like realizing like everyone has like a trigger, and you have to also realize we were on the same team. That's one of the biggest things that like I had to like even like explain to partners, or even like me also receive as well, like both explaining and receiving, like we are on the same team. I'm not trying to come at you, and I hope you're not trying to come at me either. And we have to like both understand like, yo, we're one and the same, like let's do this together. And I think once that is understood and felt from me from like both parties, it's a beautiful thing. But it just getting there takes work, and for some people I think it's quick and easy, but other people for the most part I think it just takes work to get in there. And I do think we need to start like being mindful about what it is that we're looking at, what it is that we're watching, like where are we getting our dating content from, are like, the movies that we watch, are we just expecting everything to be just this fantasy and all that kind of stuff? Like no, we have to really seek after people who are like in that place that have that relationship that I'm looking for, the healthy relationship that I'm looking for. Like you mentioned even earlier, like what do I do to kind of like, you mentioned earlier what do I do to kind of get to the place where I am? And I mentioned, you know, taking a deep look at myself as well, but even just reading a book on relationships, like you mentioned the book earlier, like the strategies and everything, like reading and stuff. So doing the work, going through therapy, like you mentioned, getting a book. Like I always mention, like getting a book is like cheaper therapy. Therapy is still good, do it, but I just love reading books as well. I love books. Anybody want to talk about books, need book recommendations, let me know. Tommy the Disciple, I got you. But books,
we got book club here.
Book club, Tommy. I'm just kidding, but that's another beautiful way I feel like I've learned about like myself, but also about my partner, but also, you know, both of us being in a relationship. Like it's do the work, man. Do the work.
And this is the myth that I want to bust. The work is all the time. The work is hopefully from year 1 to year 5, you are looking and you're engaging with your partner differently. And I feel like people, when they see the Instagrams, they see the posts, they're like, oh, this is all bliss. Man, you don't understand the work that is constantly done, because what happens if you introduce children, or someone lives in different places, or we're like, I think the work has to be, that's the romance. 100%.
And man, it's funny that you say that, but it's the work. But it made me think of this quote. I forgot the guy's name. Chris. I mean, I don't know if we want to shameless plug another podcast, but whatever.
Shameless plug.
I forgot his real name. Is it Chris Willix or something like that? But man, one of the biggest quotes, like I still to this day, that I use for everything, but it really hit me in the relationship part, was he said, the magic you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding. And I'll say it again, the magic that you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. And it just hit me, man. It hit me, because it's like everyone thinks it's, not everyone, but people think that it's just going to happen, like just here and there. But like, no, like the magic you're looking for, the thing that you're desiring, everything is in the work that you're avoiding. So like, all right, take this look at yourself. What am I really avoiding? And I think that is what it's going to take to get to where you want to be and stuff. So even in relationships, like, assess it, whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship or whatever, look at it and be like, hey, is there anything that I'm avoiding? That right there is like what I need to do to get to where I want to be. And it takes a while to get there. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm not all the way there, but I just always think about that when I think about relationships, when I think about life and all that kind of stuff. Like, the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. So put the work in.
Man, I'm gonna say one small thing, and we're gonna roll it out. Yeah. And I definitely think I agree 110% what you're saying, because I think that's what love is.
Yeah, cheese.
Love is, and I think people get this kind of twisted, where when you're sacrificing versions of yourself, it's not all of yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And I know people have heard this many times. When you're on the airplane, you put your mask on first before you
get someone else. Right. Yeah.
Someone else, meaning I'm gonna help my partner be so successful where they're their best version of themselves. But that means you don't take from yourself. Right. And I think people are very black and white, where it's never a blend of the two. And I think when you understand that balance of, I give as much as I can, and then that's my partner's life, and they have to live that.
That's good.
I think that's when it comes to that sacrifice. And that, for example, that sacrifice could be, it's like, all right, I know I have an hour lunch, 30 minutes maybe dedicated to maybe talking to my partner who needs some reassurance, and another 30 minutes is like, I gotta
fill up your cup.
I gotta fill up my own cup.
Yeah, exactly.
And that other 30 minutes, could you have taken that for yourself? Right. Of course. But it's almost kind of like, what does the situation call for?
Exactly.
Does the situation call for you to be a supreme self-sacrificer, or does it cause for you to be balanced?
Right.
Does it cause for you to be like, hey, they can handle it themselves, I'm just going to support them?
Right.
I think figuring that out comes with all that work.
Yeah, comes with the work and communication, talking it through. Right, you're right, man. It's good stuff.
Man,
there's a lot more. We'll get into this. There's a lot. There's so much more. I love this, but
man, we just popped the balloon.
We popped the balloon. More episodes to come. We popped the first balloon.
We're gonna have more episodes. We're gonna have guests. We're gonna have interviews.
Exactly. Looking forward to it.
And we're just wanting to bridge the gap, so y'all can laugh and really work on what's most important, those relationships in your life.
Right.
Now, I don't know how I'm going to end this, but the end is, I'm Cartier Rob, and the reason why I call myself Cartier Rob is, I'm going to say this. So one person told me and called me Cartier Bob, and then the guys on the show pushed me to be Cartier Rob because they didn't like the Bob. But the reason why I like Cartier is there's this one Cartier love bracelet
you shining
that you and your partner have, and like it's super dope. And when I saw that, I said I want to get that from my partner. And it's nice. like a link. So like when you like bump, it like connects, and I kind of like want that. And it's like it's a little $5,000 bracelet.
Jeez,
so
okay.
I would spend that on me and my person. But that's why I'm Cartier Rob, because I'm the love maestro.
Hey, the boy's shining.
But
that's funny.
I'm CR,
and I'm Tommy the disciple,
and we'll be back.
Hey.